Caitlin Clark got a little get back at Kelsey Plum.
She was taking a shot.
Could not help but to drag Caitlin Clark through the glass as she did it.
0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
The WNBA is on a hot streak. They're finally...
The entire WNBA has been rocked by what happened down only moments ago. And at this moment, Kelsey, Caitlin Clark just demolished Plum in the most heartless, cunning manner we've ever witnessed in women's basketball, and Plum is undoubtedly furious. I'm still having trouble understanding that this wasn't merely payback. It was a strategy for totally outwitting and exposing someone who was trying to discredit you. Don't get me wrong, Plum didn't just lose. She was removed. If you're riding with Caitlin all the way, hit the like button before we break down this whole meltdown, because you won't be supporting Plum after you hear what really happened.
Losers, and you have sore winner, and Kelsey Plum is both.
We want to blow them out. We're a lot better than
watching for the league. We're really watching for Caitlin Clark. Everyone's going to be making more because of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the one bringing in the numbers.
Let's go back to the beginning of this whole thing, because this wasn't some little random clash. The main causes of this were jealousy, covert sabotage, and an attempt by one player to lessen the fame of the biggest star the WNBA has ever produced. It all began with the WNBA All-Star Game, which ought to have included Kelsey Plum tearing it up on the field for fostering camaraderie and honoring women's basketball at its best. Rather, it became one of the most ugly, enviously fueled incidents in the history of the sport. Players at the time were supporting the pay us what you owe us movement and urging the league to give them more money. And to be honest, that part is entirely deserved. These athletes are deserving of compensation. However, Kelsey Plum made what may turn out to be the worst calculated move of her career at this point, revealing her hand. With all of the basketball world watching and cameras flashing, Plum decided to take a shrewd jab at Caitlin Clark during a news conference, all the while avoiding the courage to mention her name aloud.
0 members of Team Clark were very present for that.
Or her actually making comments about Caitlin Clark's team not being at this meeting for...
She made the carefully worded claim that none of the Clark team's players were actually participating. A job that is specifically focused on player advocacy and the league's wage negotiations. It had unbelievable nerve. She attempted to paint the player as conceited and alienated from her peers, focusing on the fact that she has brought more attention, revenue, and visibility to the WNBA than any other individual in its 28-year history. Even people who don't follow basketball could see what she was doing because it was so obvious, so intentional, and, to be honest, so dumb. The reality of the issue is what makes it even more frustrating. Clark didn't attend the All-Star game at all. She was recuperating and taking care of her personal situation at home. She was under no obligation to perform well, just to make sure that her fans were furious at Clark's supremacy. Encourages player activism.
Caitlin Clark, during that whole thing about Team Clark wasn't very present.
I thought that was a little dig at Caitlin. A lot of people definitely thought so.
Plum, she was taking a shot at Caitlin Clark's situation involving the pay us what you...
She has literally changed the entire landscape of women's basketball, attracting millions of new followers, increasing the sport's profile, and significantly contributing to the WNBA's unprecedented financial sustainability. Plum still dared to question her commitment, though. Although the level of disrespect was extremely high, the rewards that followed were even greater. The reaction was brutal and quick. Simply observe Sabrina Ionescu's response at the press conference. She was clearly uncomfortable when the reality of what Plum had just done reached her face. Even analyst Stacey King pointed out the dangers of criticizing the league's golden ticket without sugarcoating it. He wasn't mistaken either. The story is told by the data. TV ratings have increased since Caitlin Clark's arrival. Merchandise is flying off the shelves. Ticket prices are rapidly rising, and expansion fees have almost instantly increased from $50 million to $250 million. In pay negotiations, she has the league's strongest negotiating position. Yet, Plum elected to publicly go after the WNBA's most valuable asset. But this is where Caitlin Clark showed she's more than simply a lead on the court.
Say that Caitlin Clark didn't join in on the T-shirt discussion.
This week they wore T-shirts saying, making a statement, you better pay us. But instead of just leaving it at that, Kelsey Plum for LA had to take a dig at Caitlin Clark. Here she is.
The T-shirt, just United Front was determined this morning that we had a meeting for. And, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very
She's a calculating tactician, operating on a level most people can't even see playing chess, while everyone else is stuck on checkers. Instead of clapping back with a clumsy press comment or diving into a social media brawl, Clark made the ultimate power play. She remained silent. She made the most of silence. She painstakingly awaited the exact right moment to respond and continued to make headlines without ever setting foot on the court. And it struck like a wrecking ball when that time came. Clark revealed a huge international deal with Nike not long after the uproar. This demonstrates once further how big businesses are lined up and vying for her name alone. While Plum was focused on tearing her down, Clark was busy establishing her empire. But the killing blow came when Clark observed Plum posting images from a Nike event, despite Plum having signed with Under Armour, Nike's direct rival. Clark then made the incredibly well-timed, incisive remark that drove the internet into a frenzy. I appreciate the Nike commercial. She is earning well over 7 figures from endorsements alone, and brands are lining up with open checkbooks. Even if some veteran participants are still having difficulty being acknowledged, the business community is aware of what many doubters won't accept. In addition to being the future, Clark is the present and the main reason why this sport is finally receiving the respect and funding it has long deserved. Kelsey Plum has remained silent ever since making that Instagram comment, probably realizing that she was challenging someone who plays on a completely different level. The player who attempted to portray Clark as self-centered and uninterested ultimately lost to someone who realized that genuine influence doesn't require noise. It just exists and lets the results speak for themselves. While Plum's efforts to remain up-to-date hardly register, Clark's reach is so vast that even a minor social media comment becomes top news. However, this tale goes beyond a private argument between two sportsmen. We are witnessing a more extensive attempt by a few WNBA veterans to control and limit Caitlin Clark's rapid rise, and it is drastically failing. Prior to Clark's arrival, the league was struggling with poor viewership, little media attention, and comparatively cheap expansion expenses. Reactions to today's statistics are exploding on social media. Games were often played in half-empty arenas with little national buzz to speak of. Before Clark arrived, the WNBA dealt with low sales, empty stadia, and zero profitability. Then everything changed. Ticket prices went up, media deals went up, expansion fees surged, ratings went up, and jerseys flew off the shelves. Her influence is responsible for almost all of the league's improvements. However, some veterans react with barely concealed jealousy and hostility rather than applauding that growth. What they fail to grasp is easy. Clark's success lifts everyone. Higher viewership indicates higher compensation, better resources, and actual impact for the league. She's the catalyst they've been fighting for. And through it all, Clark has demonstrated why she's more than a great player. She is a leader who is aware of timing, power, and the big picture. She doesn't seek out drama. She turns criticism into drive. It is seen by fans. It is demonstrated by the numbers. Additionally, history is being written in real time.